Planet Dolan.
From how many letters there are in the alphabet to trash being in a trash can, the Planet Dolan crew reenacts some of the best true stories from our subreddit about the dumbest things we've seen people fight over. I'm Melissa, and today I'll be your narrator. Number 10 was submitted by CaptianCuckold. The dumbest thing Honeybits ever saw someone fight over was an egg roll. While she was eating her lunch one day, Honeybits noticed 3 really fat girls asking a fellow student for his egg roll. All 3 of them asked for it at once. But instead of coming to a rational conclusion, the girls argued until a big fight broke out between them. The cafeteria monitor immediately jumped into the fray of flailing fists, but one of the girls picked him up and slammed him onto the ground. It took the administrators and some other members of the staff to break it up. Even then, each of the 3 girls struggled to get back at each other. Honeybits still can't believe all that fuss was over a greasy egg roll. Number 9 was submitted by Shanae Bofani 101. It was 11 o'clock at night when Pringle heard a man scream at the top of his lungs. He screamed so loudly that it got Pringle out of bed and made him peek out his window. He saw the guy screaming at another guy, who was drunk because he could barely stand without wobbling. He yelled, "Do you know who the fuck I am? I will stab you in the face!" The man pulled out a pocket knife. The other man just stood there, appearing as though he wasn't comprehending the situation. Other people were there, trying to keep the man calm who was screaming and holding the knife. But the man kept screaming, "Nah man, fuck this dude, I'll kill him! He ate my shit, he ate all my shit!" That was when Pringle noticed an open pizza box on the bench right outside his building. Turns out that the man wanted to stab the drunk guy over a pizza. But instead of stabbing the guy, the man just stormed off, still screaming about how he was gonna stab the guy in the face. All that over a pizza. Number 8 was submitted by Crab Launcher 947863348. When Dolan was 14, his family went on a road trip. They stopped at a gas station to rest, but after Dolan's dad gave him $40 to buy some snacks, Zaragamba got pissed. As soon as Dolan walked into the store, he heard Zaragamba yell about him about not being able to get the snacks, and why his younger brother was getting them instead. Dolan walked out of the store and said,
Dad trusts me more.
That made Zaragamba yell.
I want to go to the gas station with $40.
So Dolan and Zaragamba argued about it for 10 minutes until their dad said, "If you don't shut your fucking mouths right now, I am going to give you both $40 and leave you here." That was the end of the argument. And while Dolan waited in the hot car, Zaragamba walked into the store to buy the snacks. Number 7 was submitted by Afastdudeonreddit. One time, when he was in 6th grade, Derek overheard an argument while riding the bus. At first, he didn't bother paying attention. Then there was yelling, and that made him turn around in his seat. He saw 2 older boys having a fistfight while yelling, "No there isn't!" As soon as one of them pulled out a knife, the bus driver separated them. When Derek asked what had happened, someone told him that the boys were fighting over how many letters there are in the alphabet. One of them, a 7th grader, insisted that there were 21. The other boy, an 8th grader, said that there were 26. Derek couldn't believe it. Number 6 was submitted by Wing679. Froggy was walking down the hallway in her high school when she heard arguing coming from the cafeteria. She decided to investigate and, upon entering the cafeteria, saw 2 girls fighting with each other. Froggy asked one of her friends what was going on, and he told her that the girls were fighting about who had a better cell phone case. The girls said things like, "My cell phone case is better than yours, you fucking slut," and, "Well, my phone case is better because it has glitter on the side and yours looks like a color of puke." To this day, those girls continue to argue about their cell phone cases. Number 5 was submitted by JustNarcissist001. The mother of MCalM's girlfriend was someone who always had to be right about everything. One time, his girlfriend's mom made cookies that got stuck to the parchment paper. She began yelling and fighting with everyone, demanding they eat the paper attached to the cookies. It was just because she made them. Another time, MCalM and his girlfriend and her parents went out to eat at a Chinese restaurant. All of a sudden, his girlfriend's mom began yelling at everyone because they weren't using chopsticks. Her reasoning was that they were eating Chinese food, and that they eat with chopsticks in China. But the dumbest thing MCalM ever fought with his girlfriend's mom about was when she started yelling and screaming at him about there being trash in the trash can. So, he yelled back, asking about where else trash would go. Her response was, "It's not my problem, but there shouldn't be trash in the trash can." That entire argument went on for about 15 minutes. To this day, MKLM still doesn't know where he should put the trash, but he still puts it in the trash can. Number 4 was submitted by Otaku-sans. Doopy's 2 little sisters once fought over who got which balloon. The thing was, both balloons were exactly the same. At first, she just told them to knock it off. That's when things started to get heated. Her sisters pulled each other's hair, hit each other, and screamed. Doopy got between them and pushed them to the ground. She yelled at them to knock it off, hug it out, and apologize, all before popping both balloons. She said,
"Now you got nothing to fight over."
Now, Doopy sometimes looks back and thinks that maybe she should have tried explaining to them that the balloons were the same. Number 3 was submitted by Falmai. When Legna's parents were on the verge of splitting up, they fought over everything. The dumbest thing his parents ever fought over was a lemon cake. One day, his dad was cutting himself a piece and began to cut a piece for his mom as well. That was, until she told him not to because she didn't want any. However, his dad insisted that she have a piece. It escalated from there, and within seconds they were screaming at each other. The next day, Legna's mom gave him all the details of the fight in the hopes that he would take her side of the argument. Legna shouted at the top of his lungs, "I don't care! It's a lemon cake!" He swore to himself that if he ever fought over a fucking cake again, he would pick it up, chuck it in the bin, and say, "There, now there's no more cake to argue about." When he decided to say that to them, his mom told him to just shove it in their faces instead. Number 2 was submitted by Miss Sarah 101. On her way home from work one day, Pandora decided to stop at McDonald's. While she was getting her order, she noticed a guy yelling at the cashier. He was trying to jump over the counter while demanding some sauce. Just then, he put his shirt over his head and began rolling around on the floor. The employees had to call the police because they were unable to stop him. It turned out that the guy was a fan of Rick and Morty and was told about the return of the Szechuan sauce. He was fighting with the cashier about sauce, which made almost everyone in the restaurant facepalm. Number 1 was submitted by Antman75. The dumbest thing anyone ever thought about in Nixium's family were guns. One summer evening, when he was camping with his family, the topic of guns came up. Nixium's brother made the remark that guns kill people. Their dad, being a smartass, decided to prove him wrong. He said, "I'll be right back." A few minutes later, their dad came out of his tent with a shotgun. He aimed it at his brother's face, then after a minute lowered it. He then told Nixium's brother, "Guns are the means to kill. I choose whether or not to pull the trigger. The gun itself is sentient." Nixium's brother fainted while Nixium pissed himself. Huge thanks for the folks over on our Planet Dolan subreddit for submitting their stories. We have another question for you. What's something you got blamed for but didn't do? Let us know in the Reddit page linked below, and you might be featured in a future countdown. This video was made possible by our fans over on Patreon. Thanks for your support, guys. Catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching.